Welcome to Engineering Influence Podcast from the American Council of Engineering Companies. And this week we have our new Executive Committee Officer Orientation in Washington, D.C., where our incoming future chair and vice chairs come in and kind of get a boot camp about ACEC National, roles, responsibilities, and pretty much we all come up and say this is who we are and what we do. It's that intensive training session for people who are very engaged with ACEC to begin with. And I'm very pleased to be joined by one of our future incoming vice chairs, Erica Jensen. And Erica, you have a great history because not only are you coming into XCOM, but you also have the benefit of being a former executive director in Alaska.
Yes.
So you are a vice president of CRW Engineering Group out of Alaska.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your journey, kind of your involvement in ACEC, and kind of what made you think about taking the route towards executive committee.
The previous president of CRW got me involved in ACEC prior to me becoming an owner of my company, and that actually has been one of the factors that influenced most what I hope to accomplish on XCOM is getting the younger generation involved, becoming involved before you're in the C-suite. Yeah. And with that path that I took getting involved in ACEC, I think that was a very beneficial thing. You've got a little more time. You got a lot of people still ahead of you. You've got a lot you can learn. You've got a lot you can influence. And that's something I hope to bring to my role in XCOM is bringing the younger generation involved more in ACEC.
Yeah. How do you think that experience at the state level is going to help you kind of better understand the needs of the Federation at the national level?
That one I'm also very excited about is because, like you said, I was executive director for Alaska, and that role and that connection with all the other executive directors and knowing the ins and outs and the challenges that they have at all levels, from a large state like California or New York to the states that are smaller and still trying to grow and expand like Alaska, having that deep knowledge of what is involved in the day-to-day challenges of a state MO, I'm really excited to bring that perspective and connection to the national representation.
Yeah, it's a vibrant federation and everybody's engaged. It'll be lovely to get even more engagement coming in, especially on a lot of these strategic initiatives we're having at national, from the road show all the way down. So having that experience is going to be beneficial for the other vice chairs and members of XCOM who don't have that direct MO experience.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, our members are going to get to know you in the spring, and tell us a little bit about why engineering, what got you started, and your experience in the industry, and kind of what drives you to keep on working towards making the industry better.
So I grew up in Kansas City, the Missouri side. So I do have roots in the Midwest, which I like, and I try to bring that to wherever I go. But I've been in Alaska since 2003. So I'm kind of now an Alaskan. Yeah. In terms of engineering, I've never wanted to do something else. And I can't identify exactly when I wanted to be an engineer. I've just always known that that's what I was going to do. What I like most about the civil side, so I'm a civil engineer focused on transportation. What I like most about that is the connection to the community. And I can see the impact I have in my own community and in the surrounding communities, and how civil engineering and engineering in general really brings up a whole community and the people in it. And that's one thing I really like about not only being an engineer, but being a civil engineer. And I hope to help people see that math and science, there's this great quote from our executive director winter meeting that I really liked. And it said, become an engineer and the first line is you're good at math and science. And that's crossed out. Yeah. Because that's what we all think of. Become an engineer if you're good at math and science. Well, no, become an engineer if you want to make a difference, if you want to change the world. And that's what I think is really exciting about engineering is seeing the impacts we have in the communities we live and the people that live with us.
I think that's a great point. I mean, it's when we talk about workforce development, one of the barriers to entry, I think, is the math science part, right? Everybody I knew in college I actually knew more engineers than anybody else, and I was a political science student. and seeing them they were all good at math to begin with, but then those first couple of classes that are the test cutoff, can you make it past this?
Yeah.
Was a stressful time for a lot of them. And and a lot of them questioned, do I really want to do this? Because this is what it's going to be. And it seems like we have to reevaluate things. If we want to broaden the workforce, we'll have to attract more people.
Yes.
And it's that question of, do you want to improve the community? How do you want to accomplish that? And how can engineering do that?
Right. Do you want to bring clean water to a community? So there's a surprising number of communities in Alaska specifically with the rural, but then same with rural in the United States, so it's not specific to Alaska, that don't have clean water. So it's not, am I good at math and science? Of course, there's an element of math and science, but it's, do I want to help it make a difference? Do I want to change? Do I want to better the environment, the community, the network, the social network? Yes. So I agree. That's a factor that I would like to see discussed more in terms of, is it just math and science? It's better in your community.
Well, we have workforce development, of course, is a critical component of our program. We have the workforce committee that we're starting up. What else out there? I mean, between technology, we're dealing with all these different issues that are kind of facing the industry. What other issues kind of are of interest to you that you want to get involved in or really work on?
Workforce is definitely one of my biggest, not just in the engineering, but in general, working with the younger population. And that translates to not just the workforce development at the middle school and high school level, but also getting more people involved in ACEC.
Yeah.
That's my other big one. I'd also like to work on strengthening all the MOs. My connection with the executive directors, I think, will really help that one. Those are the three that I really like to see: is workforce development, younger generation, younger professionals involved in ACEC, and helping every MO. We can't all be big MOs that have these great things, but we can be the best that we can be with the resources we have, and helping each one achieve their best is what I'd like to help contribute to.
I always make the plug for taking advantage of the resources we have national and helping them, if they can't afford, not everybody has a massive budget, not everybody has a massive staff, but we're here because we want to support them in their mission. So success on their part, success on our part. So getting them to use us as a resource. Yeah.
And
that's a big thing.
I'm hoping that my personal connections with the other executive directors will help everybody see, hey, do you know National does this? Just ask.
Yeah.
Whereas we might not, as executive directors, we might not know all the resources that are available, no matter how many times you tell us, because you tell us a lot.
We try.
You do. You succeed there. We don't always hear it. There's so much information coming in. We forget, like, oh, wait, was that 8 months ago? Did they mention they have help with the roadshow, for example? So that connection, I'm really hoping to be like, hey, by the way, they can do this. You just have to ask. Yeah.
Well, we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a great year. We have a lot going on.
Yeah.
I mean, we're looking ahead to the next infrastructure bill. We're looking ahead to the next tax package.
Yes.
Hopefully we can get the R&D issues figured out and done now. But we need to start preparing for what happens next. So it's going to be great to have you on the team.
I'm super excited about it.
Well, welcome. And I hope orientation is not too mind numbing.
No.
There's a lot of information.
Well, it's a great group of people. So it's always energizing. I always like it.
Well, welcome to ACEC.
Thank you.
And look forward to, of course, at our coming up, our spring convention happening in May of this year back in Washington, D.C. Registration is going to be open for that pretty soon. Stay on our website, acec.org, for more information. But definitely when you're there, introduce yourself and say hello to Erica and get involved, because all you have to do is ask. That's the big thing.
Yes.
So again, this has been an episode of Engineering Influence, a podcast from the American Council of Engineering Companies, and we'll see you again real soon.